You're watching GameSpot's coverage of E3 2021. Almost forgot what year it was there. And it is my pleasure to be joined by Bill and Nate from Nintendo Treehouse. How are you doing, folks?
Hi, doing great.
Doing great.
You've just shown off the Nintendo Direct. We're recording this straight after Nintendo Direct and showed off some really cool stuff there. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of that stuff, but I'm also going to test you on how well you know your Nintendo Direct, which should be fun. So first questions first. The Nintendo Direct opening animation depicts a bunch of red arrows moving from left to right. How many individual arrows appear on the screen during this?
17.
I'm going to say 14.
Bill, did you say 17?
I did.
You nailed it. Did you count that? Did you know that ahead of time?
I know everything.
I spent ages counting that. There's one arrow that just kept going between the letters of Nintendo Direct. It was so annoying.
I may have spent some time working on that.
Smoothly transitioning from that. Why Kazuya in Smash Brothers? Interesting pick.
Very interesting pick. I think, obviously he's an iconic character from Tekken, going back to the early games in that series, but is also one who's kind of evolved over time. I think Mr. Sakurai talks a little bit about his interest in that character, but there will probably be a lot more on that when we see Mr. Sakurai Presents hitting later this month, where he's going to go into quite a bit of detail on the character, the moveset, and how he's incorporated into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
So at one point in the showcase there for the Smash Bros. Part, Kazuya throws a character into a volcano before activating his devil mode. What character was it?
I think the last one was Min Min? No. It was Marth. I'm going with Marth.
Bill?
There definitely was another one after Min Min. I don't know.
Nate got it. It was Moth.
Yes!
It was Moth.
He gave him a little extra oomph, too. He threw him like a little higher. He knew it was the last one.
He did. So in terms of picking characters at this point, how are you kind of, you're running out of characters or that you've promised anyway. You've got like one left, I think it is.
That's right, one.
How do you approach, or do you have any insight into how the team is approaching picking that character? You got to go out with a bang, right? Everyone obviously is like put Crash Bandicoot in Smash, but what are you guys thinking? Do you know what do you have any inclination of what they're trying to go for there?
Just finishing it up. I think they're probably like this at this point to the internet. Like, stop telling me what to do. I don't know, Bill. It's like I have a feeling that in general, you always know that you're never going to please everybody. There's far too many picks out there right now. So I do agree, though, it should end with a bang.
So Crash Bandicoot then. Kazuya in the Smash gameplay demo has a 10-hit combo. What is the official name of that move as shown on screen during the Direct?
Oh. Nate, you should know this one as well.
I think it was just 10-hit combo, wasn't it?
Bill?
I thought it. No, because I'm confusing it with the final Smash. I guess I'll also go with 10-hit combo.
You're correct. It is 10-hit combo.
Trick
Well
question.
done. Yes. So Nintendo's a very wholesome company, but you've once again decided to release a game that ruins friendships and tears families apart. Interesting approach to go with an all-star version of a Super Mario Party. What does that allow you to do in terms of putting together a package for fans of Mario Party?
Well, for me, it allows me to revisit all the games I worked on the N64, which was so long ago. But honestly, I think what's great about Mario Party All-Stars is that with it being button controls, it becomes the first Mario Party game on Switch that's fully compatible with Nintendo Switch Lite. It also, of course, brings back the board games from the N64, which I think everybody loves. I'm a big fan of kind of the 1v1 duel mini games that we used to see in Mario Party 2, which I think will also be making a return here. And then, I do think, Super Mario Party is going to remain a game of choice for people who maybe are new to the Switch system or who prefer to play with Joy-Con controls, and that Super Mario Party Mario Party All-Stars is going to be
Superstars.
Getting that wrong.
Too many stars.
Mario Party Superstars is really going to be, I think, the game for people that have either already played Super Mario Party or are longtime Mario Party fans and are really eager to kind of dig back into the roots of the series.
Awesome. I'm not sure if you're aware of the discussion around it, but the stage with the cake has got a giant version of Donkey Kong's, let's call it a dumper on show. So you might want to look into that because the internet definitely is. So Mario Party Superstars, Rosalina rolls a fat snowball and then pushes it into another character. Do you remember what character was the victim of this horrible incident?
I am going to say it was Donkey Kong himself.
Oh, Nate, do you remember what character it was?
Luigi.
Okay, it was in fact Birdo. I was wrong there.
Gosh, I was getting Birdo too.
One of my highlights for the showcase, obviously, I'm a huge Metroid fan. I was gonna wear the Metroid T-shirt, but I thought I was gonna wear the one with the outline of Samus's visor, which was real cool. But Metroid Dread, that's the exact one. That was the one. It would have been awkward if I'd worn it. Metroid Dread's been knocking around for 16 years now as a thing publicly, and it was thought to be in development limbo, and then referenced in Corruption, and then certain people said it was completed, and kind of how much of what we see today is represented in that lineage, or is this something that was kind of like entirely thrown away and rebuilt from the ground up?
I think, obviously Mr. Sakamoto would really be the one to answer that question in detail. He touched on this a bit in the interview that he gave that we aired right after the Direct, in the sense that the core idea of Samus being pursued by this relentless enemy, I think, is really the germ that was always Metroid Dread. And really what he articulated was that he was really waiting for technology to catch up, and technology and the perfect partner in the form of Mercury Steam, which after their work on Metroid Samus Returns proved that they just understand Metroid, the DNA of what makes a Metroid game. And so as far as the particulars of exactly how much he doodled out on cocktail napkins as far as the overall game is safely locked within Mr. Sakamoto's head. But I think suffice to say that what we've seen of that Emmy gameplay, where you're the sense of creeping dread as you're wandering through those zones, that I think probably emerged intact from 16 years ago.
Do you think that there's more? I mean, like, it's hard to say probably, but do you think there's more of an opportunity now to have like these classic side-scrolling Metroid games that have more of a presence within Nintendo's kind of future? Because they've been gone for so long, and now they're back. Do you reckon this is something that the company wants to explore a little further? And what can people do, like Metroid fans like myself, to show that we really want this to continue? We don't want Metroid to go into a vault again for another 20 years or something. Like, how do we make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, I certainly want it to continue. I mean, I grew up with Metroid games as well. They're some of the first games that I played. I've always loved them, and feel like it's a genre unto itself that certainly should never ever go away. So I'd say, certainly play this game. That's step one when it comes to supporting it. And I have a feeling that you're going to really like what you experience.
Yeah, I think the one thing I would add, as Nate mentions, Metroid is genre defining. I think everybody recognizes that. And when you look at how Sakamoto-san has defined this game as sort of closing the story arc of the 5-game series of 2D Metroid games, to me, this is a moment that whether you are a Metroid fan or not, whether you've never played the game ever, this is sort of one of those moments in gaming that everyone needs to experience, and that to me, for a Metroid fan like yourself, is get that message out. Let people know, this is a series that has defined a genre, and this is going to be a pinnacle moment in that series. You've got to try this out. That to me is the message that I'd like to see all Metroid fans delivering.
Is there any more of an impetus to kind of make classic Metroid games more available? Like, I know Super Metroid is pretty much on everything at this point, but Fusion's a classic, and outside of, I think, in the 3DS Ambassador program, you can't really get it. Like, is there any discussions happening? Like, we're releasing a sequel to what is effectively a sequel to Fusion, but there's a decent chance that a whole bunch of people, a generation of people, can't play Fusion. So how do you approach that?
The way that each of the games is designed is as yes, there's connective tissue between all of the games, and there's a story arc between them. But each game does actually a really solid job of reintroducing what's happened prior in the series. So you can sort of start at any point. And then it also, over the course of the action exploration, will sort of drip feed these little bits of story to you, and you can piece it together. I would also say that as we're approaching launch, you can expect to see a kind of a steady cadence of information that'll help get people who are new to the series up to speed on what Metroid is, who Samus Aran is, and what the story has been up until now.
It's also never the wrong time to go on NSO and play Super Metroid.
I'm doing it constantly, trust me.
What's your fastest clear time?
Oh, I don't play fast. I play slow, and I play to absorb the atmosphere, and I play it to just love it for what it is. Like, I often will boot it up and just watch the title screen. I think that's the best title screen ever created in a video game. So I take it slow and steady when it comes to Metroid. So in the Metroid Dread key art, there are a number of Emmys in the background behind Samus. Do you remember how many there are behind Samus?
7.
Bill?
5.
Nate is right. Nate knows he's right as well. It's like, let's just move on. Let's get on with this.
I've seen that art a couple times.
As soon as he answered, I had to go with something different, and I knew that no matter what I said, it was going to be wrong.
He's on it. He's on it. So, not that I'm complaining, but why was now the right time to bring Advance Wars back?
Why wouldn't it be the right?
I mean, why wasn't it the right time for the 15 years where everyone was going on about Advance Wars coming back? Like, why is it now?
Well, I mean, every team, I think, has different projects that they're working on, and certainly we've seen a resurgence with Fire Emblem over the years, but certainly here in North America, many of us, myself probably being front of the line, are big Advance Wars fans, and so I think personally I'm just really happy to see that it's back, and that we were able to announce it today, because I do think it's a series that is worthy of a lot of love. I have a great amount of passion for it myself.
Yeah, I keep a DS, 3DS with me at all times because of Advance Wars, so I'm so glad to see it come back.
I'm glad to see it come back because my son lost my old cartridges and all of the playtime that I had into them. So only time I'll ever call him out for that, but that did happen.
Well, and with both of those games included, that is so much gameplay. I mean, I can't even remember how long the second game was, but it felt like hundreds of hours in that game.
Yeah, it did feel like a long game, but I'm excited to get back in. Can you clarify who's developing it? I know the site says Intelligent Systems. Is it Intelligent Systems, or is there a co-developer or anything like that?
In fact, we just confirmed earlier today that the developer is actually Way Forward, and they are working together with consultation and advice both from Nintendo and from Intelligent Systems on the project.
Fantastic. That is a great team to put on that.
Yeah, we love working with them. We've been fans of them for a while.
What is the move stat for the medium tank in Advance Wars?
What do you got, Nate?
Man, I have no idea.
Let's go, Nate. It was on the screen for a whole 2 seconds.
I have no idea on this one. Bill, you gotta save us.
The medium tank is 5. No, 4. No, wait, hang on. 5. It's 5.
You sure?
Yes. Final
That is
answer.
correct.
Yes.
It is 5. Well done.
Bill. Well done, Bill.
Almost. Good job. The Game & Watch Zelda kind of collaboration there, really cool. Super excited about that. My one immediate thing was, oh God, am I going to be able to buy this? Can you talk a bit about kind of availability, and are you prepared for it to be like super in demand, or should I brace for another I don't know, SNES Classic situation where it's just going to be gone and I'll have to be begging people to try and find it for me?
Well, hopefully
the special edition of Metroid Dread is already unavailable. So like I looked away from my screen for 5 minutes and then I came back and it was gone. And I was like, oh, great.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's certainly challenging these days. I think with any just the perfect storm of COVID and people getting out to retail and generally a high demand for everything, I think makes it challenging. But certainly with the Legend of Zelda Game & Watch, we'll hopefully be able to provide enough to cover for what we expect to be a really enthusiastic response. I certainly know I need to grab at least 3, one for me and a couple for a couple friends. So we'll certainly do our best to anticipate that demand and make sure it's available.
Tam, this is your chance to ask Nate if you are one of those friends.
Yeah, I'll slip
one. Nate, am I one of those friends? Yeah, let's go. Moving on to Breath of the Wild, the sequel to Breath of the Wild. One of the main things that are in my mind is like how much more of a focus from what you can say is narrative for the game, because it's very much, the original game was a very light touch on the narrative. Do you know if but everything I see of it, it seems like it's setting up a very strong story to tell. Is that the right way to come at it and think about it, or should we brace for something? Should the people who are obsessed with lore get their pens and papers ready?
Well, I think certainly I think those people are probably getting their pens and papers ready anyways.
True.
But I absolutely think it'll have a strong story. But I'm also of the mind that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild had a very strong story. It was just told in a very interesting way. The gameplay design was such that really had to design a narrative based around not knowing whether or not everybody would actually find all the pieces of the narrative. So the way that you pieced the story of what happened 100 years prior together based on, finding memory locations, experiencing cutscenes that really not everybody would see. I thought it was a really interesting way to do things. And at the end, for somebody like me who absolutely covered every inch of Hyrule in that game and saw everything, really felt like it ended up being a very satisfying story. And I expect absolutely the same from the new game. But of course, we're not providing any real details on that.
There's various points where you can see like a snippet of Link with long hair, and that's intrigued me. Can Link grow a beard? Do you guys know if that's possible? Like,
are you asking because you also have long hair and a beard?
Yeah, I would love to see a long hair beard Link, but I'm just wondering, like, is he too young to, like, does he have the hormones to grow a beard or not? Is that, I think, like, you need to figure that out and then maybe reissue the Hyrule Historia to, like, update that stuff.
Get a handlebar mustache. I do want to, on the subject of hair, I do want to give a shout out to, in the first Breath of the Wild game, the ancient armor. I don't know if you ever got that full set, but if you wore that set, he achieved maximum mullet on that one. He had the longest hair. So yeah, I'm holding out hope as you are for some serious hairstyles in this game.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, just like let Anuma-san know that a beard would go a long way, please. Right. I think, I mean, like the fan images are going to be incredible if that happens because everyone loves a beard.
You really know.
During the Legend of Zelda portion of the discussion, Anuma-san was wearing a badge on his shirt. What was the badge of?
I'm going to just go safe and say a Triforce, but that's an easy answer.
Interesting. Bill?
I am going to say that he was wearing a pin in the shape of
The Z logo for Zelda.
Oh, both wrong. Both wrong. Nate, you were the closest. It was the royal crest.
Oh, the crest.
The wing crest.
I was gonna say that.
It was very small. A couple of final questions for you both. Interesting lack of Animal Crossing during the direct there. Can you talk a bit about that? Mainly because people are like, we're still playing Animal Crossing. What was the decision behind not having Animal Crossing, and what's the kind of plan going forward for Animal Crossing? Is there still life in it left?
I was just playing Animal Crossing this morning. And absolutely there's life in it left. We do still plan to continue to support it with updates. I think in general, we were so jam-packed with announcements for this direct that maybe it just wasn't the right time for more of it, but we absolutely plan to continue to support it in the future.
And then final question, just for me, where is Bayonetta 3? Like, does it still exist? Like, we're dying out here. Is there any? Are you going to show it to us again ever? What's the deal here?
It definitely still exists. I can confirm it.
Sweet. That's enough for me.
I will even go one further and say not only does it exist, but it's progressing well.
Oh, good. So you played it then?
Well, I think we have a habit of we like to show things when we're ready to show them, and certainly we like to show things when I think the developers are ready to show them. So we didn't have it here at E3, but stay tuned.
Oh, well, I appreciate you telling us that. Bill, Nate, thank you so much for your time today and for entertaining the quiz shenanigans. When I conduct quizzes, everyone's a winner. So as far as I'm concerned, you both won. Great job.